You can't run. You can't hide. And you know the fucking car won't start because, duh, there is no escape from horrible horror. Movies so bad they're scary. Survive the next hour with Marshall Hampton and Aaron Southworth, if you dare.
Horror, so bad and scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad and scary. Enjoy the show. Really?
What's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the show where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me today is Miss co-host, Mr. Aaron Southworth. Aaron,
Hey, how's it going, everybody? And happy birthday to Marshall Hampton.
thank you so much.
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
Actually, by the time I release it, should be actually your actual birthday.
Yeah, it will be. So for Moon Goons who listen to this right away, you can actually hear this on my birthday.
And we should feel honored
You should feel honored. You can celebrate my birthday with me.
or terrified. That's like, my God.
But speaking of birthday, that is the exact perfect segue into this week's movie. We are doing Bloody Birthday. This movie was released on April 28th of 1981. So we're going back to the 80s because it's just a treasure trove of greatness from back then. This was written by Ed Hunt and Barry Pearson, and is also directed by Ed Hunt as well. You can find it on Amazon. That's really the only place I was able to really find it.
Ed Hunt?
Ed Hunt.
Ed Hunt in relation to Mike Hunt?
Yeah, exactly. I believe they're cousins.
Actually, I found it on YouTube.
You found it on YouTube?
Streaming for free in excellent, even says Blu-ray quality. And it was fantastic quality.
Well, all right. There you go.
Free.
Free.
Bow, bow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so that's great.
Yeah, now, once I said that, I'm sure it's going to get taken down.
Yeah. But I'm always aware of the YouTube stuff because sometimes it's just awful quality. It's just shit.
Yeah, like when I watched Humanoids from the Deep, it was like cut up into several different sections. I had to like piecemeal it together, but it was still fucking awesome.
This movie, the cast there's some interesting people in here, especially from an 80s perspective. First of all, let's start with the star. Lori Lethnan plays Joyce, the main woman girl in this movie. She's got 37 credits, and for you diehard horror fans and people who really pay attention to the show, you might have heard that name before because she also starred in Return to Horror High, which we featured on the show about last year at some point.
Mm-hmm.
She's the main girl on that as well.
That was with Doug Jones, right?
Yes.
Coffee Doug Jones.
Yes, it was. Now, another 80s icon, if you will, is Julie Brown, who plays Beverly Brody. Now, it's not downtown Julie Brown, but it's Julie Brown. She's got 74 credits to her name. Most notably, she was in Earth Girls Are Easy. She was.
Wait. Julie Brown was in this movie?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. She's also the voice of Zatanna in the Batman animated series, and she was the voice of Minerva Mink in the cartoons, the Animaniacs, and Pinky and the Brain. For those of you who remember those growing up.
I love Julie Brown. She used to have a TV show on MTV. And plus she had a song, Everybody Run, the Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun. Yeah, she was like a weird 80s icon
That's
character.
exactly. Yeah. She's also in Clueless, where she played Mrs. Stoger, or Stogar. And just speaking of the 80s, this was a quote of Julie Brown's I found about Madonna, which I thought was kind of funny. She says about Madonna, all she did was take a little bit of talent and a bottle of bleach, and suddenly she's the queen of the world. And coincidentally enough, she did work at MTV at the same time as Downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah.
But she went by either West Coast Julie Brown or Miss Julie Brown, obviously to separate herself from the other Julie Brown.
West Coast Julie Brown.
Yeah. Then we have.
If I'm not mistaken, Downtown Julie Brown was British, I believe, or at least she spoke with an accent. She was African. She was
black.
gal,
She's definitely black.
but she had an English accent.
I think you're right. I think she was right.
What's up, everybody? Downtown Julie Brown. My accents are horrible.
They are horrible. Next, we have K.C. Martell, who plays Timmy Russell, the main kid in this. Now he has 35 credits. He also played Greg in the 1979 Amityville horror movie, so he was the kid in that. And he also played Greg again in Steven Spielberg's all-time classic E.T. He was in E.T. as well.
Oh shit.
And his last role was he played Eddie in 19 episodes of Growing Pains from 1985 to 1992. And last I'm going to mention is Billy Jane, who plays Curtis Taylor, one of the main, I guess, kids, one of the main bad guys. He's got 72 credits to his name. He's done a ton of like TV and like TV movies and
He's
stuff.
also the best child actor, I think, in this one.
Oh, by far, yeah.
Yeah.
He's done a ton of shit. Like he was in 18 episodes of Silver Spoons. He was Mikey Randall on all 73 episodes of Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Never saw it.
He was also in the 1983 Cujo, where he played Brett Camber, and he was in 1985 Just One of the Guys, which was about a girl who wanted to play football.
Shit, I love that movie.
Yeah,
it's not about a girl who wants to play football. If you've never seen Just
Wait,
One of the
no,
Guys,
I
I should
think-
punch you in the
No,
nose.
it is-
Because it's your birthday, I won't.
No, it's shit. I've seen the movie, but the cover, she's staying in a locker room with two football helmets over her boobs.
Yes.
That's why. That's what's made me think of football. That's a different movie. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. He was in that. He played Buddy Griffin
Yeah,
in that movie.
it's totally perfect. Who is awesome? He's a total perv in that movie.
Yeah.
And like it's such a great movie. I want to talk about that movie. So, like, let's just get rid of that. Let's just talk about Just One of the Guys. Fuck, that movie's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, but now I totally see it. I totally see it.
Yeah,
now.
as soon as I saw this
Yeah.
kid, I'm like, I know you've seen that kid. He's done like throughout the '80s. He did so much shit throughout the '80s. He was a
Yeah.
face you wouldn't recognize. So that's it for the cast.
One of his best lines from that. I'm sorry, I got to
Okay.
go back
All
to
right,
it.
go back.
She's acting like a guy. She's trying to act like a guy, and he's trying to teach her how to act like a guy. He's like, "Let me see you scratch your balls." And she goes, he's like, "Come on, come on." He's like, "Well, maybe my balls don't itch." She goes, "All balls itch. It's a fact." I love it.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's wonderful. Now just to put this in context, because this movie does deal with the whole premise is killer kids. This was in 1981, but it also around the same time as 8 other killer kids. Children of the Corn, probably one of the more famous killer kids.
Yeah.
That didn't come out till 1984, the movie anyway. And then The Village of the Damned. The original black and white one was done in 1960, but the remake was in 1995. So there was kind of this, time period of weird shit going on in the 80s, and Killer Kids was kind of new. They were trying to get out there in the change up the whole slasher.
kind of.
Yeah.
Hey, let's mix it up a little.
Yeah, let's make kids the killer. So with that said, we're going to go into the movie. And it opens with a very simple yet, I thought, hauntingly relaxing piano tune. As a credits roll, and this music kind of gave me flashbacks to like the original old school Resident Evil games, because it just made me think of like the music that's played when you were in like the safe room, or like the save room with the typewriter.
Yeah.
Like it had
It's like
that kind of feel
you're
to
running
it.
away from zombie dogs and hunters and zombies. And you're like, and you get in the room. It's like,
It's just so peaceful.
I
and
can
quiet.
get my first aid spray.
Yeah,
or
it's like
my
a
fade
spa.
spray.
It's like just a
Yeah.
spa in there, Anyway,
Someone give me some chamomile tea.
need to mix my red and my green herbs together. So once the credits are over, we're taken to Meadowvale General Hospital on June 9th, 1970. And the first thing we notice is that it is a fucking windy ass day
Yeah.
on this. I mean, trees and bushes are just blowing everywhere. I mean, it's like, I'm surprised a tornado just ripped through this scene. It's so damn windy. And we see this elderly doctor. He pulls up and he talks to this nurse who's standing outside waiting for him. And she mumbles something about the patient's fine, but now they have 2 more that are also in labor. And then they go inside. Before they go inside, though, the doctor does say something about the eclipse, but it's so damn windy this scene, I can barely hear what they're saying.
So there's a lunar eclipse coming.
So lunar or solar? It's some kind of eclipse.
It's at night, so I think it'd be a lunar eclipse because the sun's or something's blocking the moon from shining.
Yeah, but it's the middle of the day, so I
Is it
don't
the
know.
middle of the day? I thought it was night.
Unless
We
they're
got
shooting night for day
Solar
or
eclipse,
day for
lunar
night,
eclipse,
whatever.
a
It's,
fucking eclipse.
yeah, some kind of eclipse. But again, during the scene, like I said, the actors are squinting so hard and they're doing their best, like not to make the win a problem, but they eventually just head inside. Now I don't understand like why at this point the filmmakers didn't just wait to shoot this scene till the wind died down or something.
It's
like,
for effect. It's like, ooh.
like yeah, it's like did they? Like I don't know why these rushed it, but it just felt weird. Like it was so goddamn windy. So they head inside and we get a time lapse shot of the eclipse now, like going up, and the voiceover of the doctor talking to nurses about the 3 different women in labor,
And
And
showing the process of the eclipse while they're talking.
yeah,
It's
it's
like,
this time lapse of the eclipse.
So and so
going.
just had a boy. So did so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the peak, the
you hear
eclipse hits.
babies
Its
crying. It starts to become
full
like a
peak.
jumbled mess.
Yeah, it really does. It's just so much gibberish. But basically, we have women have given birth to 2 boys and a girl, and we fade away to Meadowvale Cemetery 10 years later on June 1st of 1980, and there's a couple of high school kids making out. The guy's feeling her up. We see some boob. And then suddenly the girl's like, you know what? I think someone's watching us. We should move, or we're way out in the open.
Yeah,
Somebody could see us.
He's really going for it, and I do got to give this guy credit. He's got a pretty smooth line. I love this line. He's feeling her up, and she's kind of like, and he's like, hey, do you want to play? Have you ever played ambulance? And she goes, what's that? And he puts his hand on her knee, and he goes, this is the ambulance, and starts running. It's like, and whenever you want it to stop, you just say red light. He starts running his hand up her leg, up to like her butt. And she goes, red light, and he goes, don't you know ambulances don't stop for red lights?
Yeah.
Boom! I like that. I was like, oh! gotta teach that one to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm married, so dude, ambulances is like, I'll be there in a second. But
I got jump start this ambulance. Battery's dead.
I love you, honey.
So basically, so what does this guy do then to satisfy the, kind of ease the calmer down? Well, he takes it to a much more intimate and romantic location.
Someplace they're not going to be seen.
Exactly, a fucking open grave.
She's all for it.
I shit you not. This fucking idiot thinks an open grave is where a girl wants to get plowed in. Like, just come on, honey. This will be really romantic and
Time to be
sweet.
hot.
But because this is a shitty movie, it fucking works.
She's all for
The
it.
girl's like, all right, and she hops down
I'm in.
She hops down into the grave. Hell, she doesn't even say anything about the grave. She's like, just hops right on in,
Sweet.
and they go right back at it. So they're making out again. They're laying in the dirt, which again, no girl would just laying in the dirt, getting clothes dirty, dirt in her
like
hair,
fresh,
dirt. Yeah,
all, like, ugh.
yeah. And we see a POV shot of someone approaching the grave, and then all of a sudden we see dirt is like thrown down or falling down on top of them. So the guy stands up to see who the hell is throwing dirt on them, and he stands up, and as soon as he turns around, just whack! He just gets hit right in the face with this giant shovel, not once, but twice.
Twice.
He collapses down into the grave unconscious. The girl screams, and then like a noose or something is like lowered down.
Like a rope, yeah.
Yeah, and just so perfectly wraps around her neck. And the rope's pulled tight. She's lifted off her feet. She dies right as the boy gets back up.
He's trying to like lift her and try to get her free. All of a sudden, another shovel comes into frame. Whack!
Yep. Hits him again, and down he goes. So now both the boy and the girl are either dead or unconscious, and the grave is just, dirt starts piling on top of them. And we cut away to a nice little house in the burbs where we meet Joyce, who we learn, we instantly learn is into astrology. That's her big thing. And, which at times, this was probably shot in
Sure.
79. It makes perfect sense for the times.
Absolutely.
She's reading her chart and doing astrology stuff as her little brother climbs into the window. He's trying to be sneaky, but he fucks up when he knocks the knife off the kitchen counter. And she's like, where were you? Why are you climbing through the window? And he's like, I was out feeding the dog. I just got locked out. Had to, just doing way back
He's
in.
lying.
He's
She's
lying.
like, hey, you're lying to me, but he won't fess up what
Yeah,
he's
it's
doing.
like, whatever. Just go to bed. So the next day we see Joyce running late for a job or internship or something at the local middle school where she's a teacher's assistant, a student teacher. I don't know. I never really learned what her
They
fucking
never really
role is
explain
here.
because she's a high school student.
She's
like
a senior in high school. Yeah.
And she's in the classroom with all these 10-year-olds.
Yeah,
like,
it's really
they're in
weird.
fourth grade, and she's not teaching the class, but she's I don't know if she's grading papers or what.
Yeah, like if she's an assistant as her job, but if she's a high school, she should be in school herself.
Maybe they had some sort of program.
Yeah,
Who
it's
knows?
really weird. Like they never explain it at all
It's
what
no
she
big
does
deal.
there. So anyway, the local sheriff is in the classroom and he's addressing the class, and one of the kids, Curtis, stands up to answer a question, and right from the get, you just know you're not gonna like this kid.
Something's off with this kid.
I mean, he's got this. He answers the sheriff's question with this giant shit-eating grin on his face. And he sits down, he's smiling ear to ear, like he's like, I got it right. There's just something about him. And then one of the other kids smacks him with a spitball, which I was like, all right, cool. But this is where things take a really dark turn because the sheriff just straight up asks the kids if they know what murder
What
is.
if you kids know what murder is? Mind you, they're like just 10 years
Yeah,
old.
they're basically, but yeah, they're 10 years old. And so what, fourth grade, I guess? Fourth graders
Yeah.
are like, not like, hey, kids, don't talk to strangers or don't do this. Like, do you know what murder is?
Right, and then the little girl Debbie stands up and she's like, "Oh, it's when another person kills another person, like on TV." And then the cops like gets even darker. He's like, "No, not like TV, because that's pretend.
Yeah.
These people are dead." It's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, he's
Calm
like
down.
intense. And we find out that Debbie is the sheriff's daughter. So, and then we meet Steven, who's this blonde boy who's like friends with Curtis. And he turns, he's like, "What do you think you are, a bunch of babies or something?" And then the sheriff holds up this wooden handle or grip from a jump rope and asks any of the kids if they have a jump rope with a handle like this. Curtis and Debbie share a glance. You notice that as the sheriff goes on to say that Annie Smith and Duke Benson have been murdered, and asks if any of the kids were in the cemetery last night. Again, like if you're fishing for suspects, I don't think the fourth grade classroom is your best bet.
That's the place to start. Fourth grade.
Like I know, we all know that the 10-year-olds like to hang out at the cemetery at night. We
And
better
murder.
better go check them out first.
Right.
It's come on. So the bell rings, the sheriff leaves, and afterwards the teacher, Mrs. Davis, dismisses the kids. Joyce rushes after Tommy. She pulls him aside. She's like, "Hey, where were you last night?" He swears he was not in the cemetery. She's like, "Fine, whatever." They let him go. Meanwhile, Debbie, Curtis, and Steven approach Miss Davis and ask her if the whole class can be excused from homework next Monday because it's their birthdays and everyone's going to be at the party.
So
like,
you get the idea. Okay, these are the 3 kids that were all born on the day of the eclipse.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are the eclipse babies. Miss Davis says, "Nope, homework's more important than a party, and just because the 3 of them share a birthday doesn't make them special." Debbie continues to act all sweet. She's like, "Thank you, okay, have a nice day." While behind her, Curtis and Steve are just like staring daggers at this woman.
Mean mugging.
Yeah, they are. So the 3 kids are eating cookies in Debbie's kitchen. She says, like, "Hurry up, we're gonna miss it," and then leaves the boys up to her bedroom closet.
No, this part's fucking awesome.
Yeah, where she charges each of the boys a quarter for the first minute and a dime for each additional minute to watch her older sister Beverly undress through a peephole in the closet.
And she's rocking out some sweet, like, late 70s, early 80s rock.
Oh,
And
yeah.
She's, like, doing a whole fucking striptease.
Yeah.
She's
Like,
doing, like
she-
a whole routine,
Yeah.
like, striptease thing. And the kids are just like, yeah.
Yeah, they're eating up. Of course, they're eating up. But I'm like, who is she dance? She's just in a room by herself. Like,
Hey, man. You know,
like I guess you got to dance. You got to dance.
This
but
is her thing. Like, she was changing her clothes, like, out of her, like,
school clothes and into her after school sex clothes or something. Because so yeah, Beverly's played by Julie Brown, like I said earlier. And we do get a lot of tits in this scene, and I gotta say they look pretty good.
Completely nude.
She gets
naked.
complete nude. You don't see front bush, but you see ass and you see tits. She's got a great body in this
Yeah,
movie.
she's dancing, doing it's like a whole striptease kind
Yeah,
of thing.
it's a whole thing. She's
And man, Curtis is into it. His face is against the peephole.
oh, at first it's Steve because then Curtis
Yeah.
like pulls him back, like get the fuck out of the way. It's my turn, and then he is glued to that thing.
Yeah.
he pays for the extra time.
Yeah. He forks up that extra dime.
Yeah.
And Debbie's looking at her hand like, money. Yeah, 60 cents.
Yeah, I got a nice racket here. So yeah, Barry's dance run room topless, and gets naked, and she gets dressed again, but she doesn't put on any bra or panties when she gets dressed. She's
Nah,
going
no.
full
like
commando.
You said, sex clothes. She needs her sex clothes. on.
Yeah. So Beverly then sees Joyce walking down the street through a window, and she rushes off to go catch up with her. The two of them. Do you have something to say?
Keep going.
All right. The two of them talk about like the murdered kids.
This scene, they're walking. So she runs up to go meet with Joyce.
Yeah.
So they're walking down the street, and it's right out of fucking Halloween.
I thought the same
I
thing.
Swear to God,
It's very similar.
it's
yeah.
the same scene when like Laurie Strode and her, whatever the girl who always goes totally
Linda
are
and
walking-
Annie.
Yeah, whenever they're walking down the street, and because they're walking down the street, they're talking about, man, isn't that weird? They got murdered. Yeah, there's like this kind of this dour kind of scene, and then guess who pulls up? The cop father, which is right out of Halloween. Same goddamn thing happens.
Very, very similar.
Almost the exact same thing. You can't deny that this is
Well,
directly.
no, I'm
told
not
and
saying
influenced.
you could. I'm not saying it's not influenced. It is, but there's scenes with Linda,
Sure, there's
Annie,
some
and
differences,
Lori.
but it's so minor. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so
No,
much
you're right.
related.
But the thing with the cop car is they pull up. That's what I'm thinking of is when Linda or Annie. Which one is it?
Are you
We're
talking
into-
about Halloween?
Yeah, where they pull up to the cop car. They're smoking the joint. They pull up to at the robbery at the hardware store. And that's where the fear. I don't remember the sheriff pulling
Still,
up to them.
regardless, it's still
All right, we're getting off topic,
so related.
It's-
So,
oh, I thought the same
yeah.
thing though. I totally
Yeah.
thought the exact same thing. So where was I? We also learned that Beverly's dating a guy named Willard, who you never really see except for like in the background in a few
there,
sheets,
yeah.
but he plays no point. And that Joyce's boyfriend Paul is actually like a freshman. He's away. He's in college already. So yeah, the sheriff tells her to come home after dark, because she doesn't want, you're now.
There's a psycho on the loose.
Yeah,
they
a
keep
psych-
saying psycho.
They love using that word in this
They
movie.
do.
Psycho.
Yeah, psycho.
So we follow the sheriff as he arrives home, and once he's inside, he puts his gun away in like this cabinet, and he turns on his fucking home security system, which is fucking huge.
This is no ADT.
No, this is like it's the size of like a fuse box for a whole house.
Yeah.
It needs like a special key to operate, and
It locks all the doors.
yeah, this is like Fort Knox like bullshit like level. Like I'm surprised there's not like two keys that we turn at two different people at the exact same time.
Like, 1, 2,
Two, 3,
boom.
ding, ding.
Yeah. And it's like the guy is so paranoid.
Oh, he's so paranoid.
And he lives in like picturesque suburbia.
Yes. And like seriously, I would never know like at the time like this large metal box that we saw on the wall was a security system. I thought it was a fuse box.
Right.
But if he didn't get on his wife's case for not having it turned on with a psycho running around loose, because they used the word again right there, I had no idea that was. It's insane the size of the security system. But next we see a shot of one of the boys setting up at like a real old school wooden skateboard on the back steps as like a booby trap.
Dude, this skateboard is so old. It's got clay wheels. Now, this is like straight 60s, 70s skateboard. Like, this is before the 80s when they got polyurethane wheels. These are clay wheels, crazy old skateboard.
Yeah,
straight
super
from the
old.
70s. Yeah.
Like the skinny little deck, the real skinny.
Yeah. A banana deck is what they
Yeah,
call it.
I knew there was a term for that. Thank you. So they set up the skateboard. Debbie calls her father outside to show him something, and the sheriff heads out back, and they try to build suspense, like whether is he going to step on the skateboard or not? Is he going to fall?
Up until this point, we don't know anything about these kids. They're just cute little sweet kids.
Yeah, we
don't know anything about these kids.
But nope, he just steps over his skateboard, which actually at this point I was happy to see that, because if
Yeah.
he would have stepped on that skateboard and fell, I would have been really upset with the fact that he didn't see this large blue skateboard
Right.
plainly visible in the middle of the steps, and easily avoidable.
It was perfect because it seems like something kids would do. They're like, he's going to slip on the skateboard. It's like, kids, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Get this shit out of my way.
Put your toys away. So seeing that he didn't fall, Debbie looks really disappointed, and she has to come up with a plan B on the fly. So she drops the jump rope she was playing with at his feet, and he kneels down to pick it up. And you can see that the jump rope is missing one of the handles.
The same handle type that he was addressing the kids about the strangle victims.
Exactly.
And he's like, my daughter.
Yeah,
What?
so
my daughter's rope.
He's still kneeling down, and he looks up at Debbie, he's like, "Where'd you get this?" And she just stands there and smiles at him. And then he gets Mark McGuired in the back of the head by
As
Steven.
comes out of the bushes with a fucking
Base-
baseball bat.
yeah.
And slugs him in the
Like,
back of the head.
Steven goes straight up Negan style on the back of the sheriff's head. I mean, he just destroys him.
He hits him like 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
in the back of the head with his baseball bat.
Kurtz comes up and takes the bat and just tosses it behind a skinny bush next to
Gotta
the steps.
dispose of this evidence.
Because, like, that's the best fucking place to hide a murder weapon. Just 3 feet from the body behind a skinny little bush. I mean, no one's going to find it there.
We got it.
we
got it.
Got it covered. So the two boys work together to move the sheriff's body over to the steps to make it look like an accident.
Make it look like he did slip on the skateboard.
That he fell. But if they weren't suspecting, I'm sorry, but what I have a major problem with this scene, but they weren't expecting Timmy now to show up through the back gate and catch them. So again, Debbie has to think on the fly, and she screams out for Mom, saying, "Mom, Daddy fell." Mom rushes out, tosses Steven aside, just chucks him to the side, checks the sheriff, and then she runs off to make a phone call for help. Meanwhile, Debbie's just glaring at Timmy for like, "You fucker."
Just, oh shit, you're next, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. So we cut to the sheriff's funeral, which I guess is supposed to be the very next day, which is a super quick turnaround for a funeral.
They don't allude. They just,
But it's got to be, if you think of it, because the original scene at the school probably took place on a Friday. Because
we don't know that.
Think about it, because they said, can the kids be off, have no homework for next Monday?
Sure.
Which is their birthday. Would it be actually, we can figure this out. You know what? Because all right,
Are
fuck
we
it.
really gonna figure it out?
I kind of want to, but fuck it.
It's so minor, dude. It could technically be Monday. The kid's talking to her class or talking to the teacher, saying, "Next Monday, can they be excused?" It very well could be. We don't know.
All right.
You're
But
jumping to conclusions.
I'm not jumping.
Yes, you
I'm taking a little hop at best. So anyway, either way, there's still like no investigation, which seems a little weird.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
getting smashed in the back of the head 4 or 5 times with a baseball bat is probably going to have a different representation upon injury instead of hitting your head on a concrete step.
and the fact that everybody in town keeps talking about a psycho on the loose, and how the
Right.
sheriff turns up dead, and also the fact that like you just mentioned somebody falling down the stairs, would have a totally different like skull fracture than their head being bashed in multiple times by a
right.
bat.
Several, yeah.
And also, I think anybody who would look at the body would also think it was a little fishy that the sheriff's body was laying on the steps with his head like up. And if he's supposed to have fallen down the stairs, he would have been at the bottom of the stairs, not on the stairs. The whole position of the body, nothing around here makes any sense. Nothing about this story makes
But
sense.
it's small town suburbia, they're just going to say, "Well, Marsha done it. Marsha slipped on the skateboard. Put your toys away, kids."
Put your toys away. So, dude, I don't know if you noticed this, how careful you watch this scene, but during this funeral scene, there's this one kid. He's like this chubby blonde boy. It's the only time you see him in the entire movie, but he just looks completely lost. He's standing there and he's like dead center too, right in the middle of the picture, and he's just looking left to right, back and forth. His eyes are all big and bushy. He doesn't know. He looks like he doesn't know what the fuck he's supposed to be doing.
I didn't
It's
notice it.
hilarious. I was like, it's to me like the funniest thing in this movie is this kid who's like, it's like he just stumbled onto the set one day. He's like, oh shit, am I supposed to be here? What's
guess
going on?
I couldn't take my eyes off of Debbie's dress. It looked like something a character would wear in Castlevania. It was this like long white dress with like this. It was like I guess it was like the belt was supposed to be high, but it looked like a big fucking black cross. It looked like something like some character wearing like a fucking scary video game or something. And she wears it like at every funeral. There's more funerals.
Yeah, there's
guys.
more funerals. Yeah, she wears that same dress. So also during the funeral, Debbie. Then there's this thing. Like, Debbie looks at Timmy, and then over at Steven, who nods at her.
Like, we're gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, and then she looks. Curtis, who nods back, and then he looks. It basically is like that scene from like the Family Guy, Return of the Jedi episode where like they're on the sand barges and they're just standing there just nodding at each other for like 5 minutes. It's very similar to that. It's just Keith's kids looking back and forth, nodding at each other. And we go to Curtis, Steven, and Timmy, and some other random kid now who doesn't matter who he is, and they're playing hide and seek in a junkyard. And Steven's he's doing the count, the other three run off. And Curtis then tells them, he has a real good hiding place. And I shit you not, Curtis pulls out a fucking gun and tells this random kid, "Hey, don't copy your hiding place. Get out of here."
Yeah, don't you tell me where the hiding place is, or I'll fucking make you pay. It's not that bad, but he's basically pointing a gun at his kid's face.
He's like, "All right, I'm out." He takes
Kid's
off
like,
running.
"I'm out of here. I'm never playing with you guys again."
Yeah, rightfully so.
You guys are
He
assholes.
runs away, and he tells him, like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's a phony." And then tries to convince Timmy to hide in an old refrigerator.
Side by side.
An old side by side, and which doesn't take much convincing because Timmy he gets inside.
Yeah, I mean, he calls it. Timmy's like, "Nah, man, I'm not gonna do that." And Kurt's like, "Come on, chicken." Bark, bark, bark. Just
Yeah,
calls him
the old chicken.
The old chicken trick, which makes Timmy like, "I'm not."
He's got Marty McFly syndrome.
Yeah,
Nobody calls me chicken.
I'll show you, kid. So he gets inside the fridge. But Curtis is like, "You dumbass."
Yeah.
Gets up, slams the fridge closed, locks
Locks it.
it, and struts away like a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
They have this, like, he slams him in the fridge, closes it, and then they do this wide shot of the whole junkyard,
Junkyard.
and he's walking with this fucking strut. And I swear to God, all I
It's
could
like
hear was,
he's like,
"Damn, it feels good to be a gangster."
He's like doing almost like the Vince McMahon.
Yeah, or like
strut.
Conor McGregor kind of strut. Dude.
Yeah.
He's just strutting out of there, like
smiling ear
dude,
to ear.
and he comes up and Steven's there, and he's like, "Yeah," they gave a high five, and they just strut. I'm like, "Damn, these are some gangster ass kids." That was a baller move.
So we jump down to Joyce talking to Mr. Harding, who this is the one and only time we ever see this guy too, about some astrology bullshit. And at this point, I'm not even sure who Mr. Harding is or what purpose he serves this movie because we never see him again. All we know is that Beverly makes some kind of implies that Joyce thinks he's cute and they work together on a paper or an article or something. It again never comes to fruition. You never know. Doesn't fucking matter.
So we'll tell you about it. Whoops.
You're so right. Why did I do it? Whatever. All right, so we get a short scene now of Curtis at home with his grandfather, and he's working on some kind of like electrical contraption, which Curtis makes lights up by clipping alligator.
So it kind of
Pins to
shows
it.
you that Curtis is pretty bright. You know,
He's
he's
like
a
a
smart kid. He's
MacGyver.
good with electronics, which comes into play later.
Yes. Now we're going back to Timmy, and he pulls out this light up pen thing that he uses as a flashlight to help him see in the fridge, and he starts going crazy for him. He's thrashing around, screaming, but eventually he finds like this flat, skinny, like little metal strip, and he uses that basically to pry open the latch and escape. Now, I do want to make a comment on the music that's played here once the fridge door opens, because the music it's like so triumphant that you would think Timmy just climbed Mount Everest, after nearly dying of frostbite or something. It just, the music was so over the top, in my opinion. For like, he got is like,
Yeah.
like I don't know.
It's
like the most glorious thing, like, yeah, it's
Speaking of the music.
yeah.
Speaking of the music, either it has to be the same guy who did the Friday 13th movies, the early Friday 13th movies, or they borrowed so heavily from it because it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Like the scare scenes when they're running around and, you know, fighting and, you know, killing and all that, all the reveals. It's so Friday 13th. It's incredible. It's incredible. We got to check to make sure, like, who did the music. We got to see that because it's so much Friday. It sounds exactly like Friday 13th.
Yeah,
at points.
The even thing we could look it up easily and find out, but I didn't make that connection myself.
Dude, I'm watching. I'm just like, man, it feels like I'm at Camp Crystal Lake, you know?
So Timmy makes it home, tells Joyce what happened, but she doesn't really believe him. And she also hounds him about where he was the other night. He's like, hey, I'm still not convinced you were, you know, feeding the dog, whatever. So Timmy comes clean and says that he went over to Debbie's house, but she wasn't home. That he went over there to see Beverly naked through the peephole, and she charges him. Again, Joyce laughs this off as like, oh, kids being kids. And it's like, you know what? I don't want you playing with Curtis anymore, regardless. So speaking of which, we go to Curtis and Steven and Debbie together in Debbie's like treehouse thing, which is really just like a raised platform.
Yeah.
So I guess more like a tree deck. I don't know.
There you go. Tree patio.
Tree patio. And Steven's mocking Mrs. Davis, the teacher. And then Curtis says, we'll make her quiet enough. And now the camera shows Debbie gluing a picture of Mrs. Davis into a scrapbook, which also has a newspaper article about the sheriff's death. So basically, these kids are keeping a murder book.
Dude, it's a perfect, like, psycho trait, or psycho, I am using the trade,
Yeah.
like serial killer or, you know, mass murderer trait. It's
Your
like having a
trophy.
trophy, exactly. Yeah, and so all kids are kind of sharing in this trophy.
The murder book.
Yeah,
And-
the murder book.
the murder book. And so later that night, Curtis knocks on Debbie's window. She lets him into the house, and she lets him take her father's gun, replacing it with supposedly the replica or the phony one that Curtis had earlier. Now, the next day, we join with Mrs. Davis in the teacher's lounge, I guess, but it could be like a fucking kitchen to me. Curtis enters behind her, pulls out the gun. Thinking it's this replica, she tells him, hey, you bring it to school again, you know, one more time, I'm going to take away. And it's like, oh, the 80s.
Yeah, I know.
When you could bring a realistic toy gun to school,
Dude, he points.
and just nobody cares.
And no, it's like a fucking gun.
Yeah.
It looks, and he's like, you've been warned about this before. Might have to take it away.
Yeah, so apparently he's brought a gun to school before, and it's
This
like
is more than
eh.
one time.
Yeah. So Curtis is like, okay, I'll put it away. He wraps it up in his jacket, and then he shoots her in the back, killing her. And I guess his thought was covering it up when with the jacket was supposed to muffle the sound, which
Yes.
does not do that work at all.
It sounds like those like classic 80s gunshot sound, like when Dr. Loomis is shooting Michael Myers at the end of Halloween.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, boy, it is a
it's like that
it's a
cannon
big
sound.
ass
It is
it's a
dude.
six round revolver.
It's like a big 38.
Yeah.
You know, and it's got some fucking kick to it. I mean, this
Yeah.
little kid, you think this thing is going to throw him across a room.
It should. So in come Debbie and Steven as Curtis starts to clean up the blood. Debbie heads back outside to the playground where she meets up with Timmy and Joyce as they arrive. She's kind of playing like lookout, watch, look out for everybody else. Joyce heads into the lounge which is now spotless, by the way.
Huh.
All that blood in the matter of like, and the body is gone. So in a matter of like 10 seconds, Curtis and Steven have somehow managed to clean up all the blood and hide a body of an adult woman who is easily twice their size and weight.
Dude, those little kids, man, bring more to my house.
Dude,
put them to work.
I got some housework for him to do.
Dude, yeah. Like, okay, I want you to clean the cat box. I want you to clean the kitchen. I got some dead bodies over there. And you just get there and they're like, don't worry, man.
Don't
we
worry,
got
that.
it. We're pros at that.
That's our forte.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Steven, at this time, we see Steven hiding like a wardrobe or closet. I mean, he's pointing the gun out the cracked door at Joyce, who picks up one of the bloody sponges, but she thinks it's just paint as Curtis sneaks out the door behind her. But she hears the door close and she goes to check it out, and she just sees Curtis stand around with Debbie and Timmy talking, so they're like, okay, nothing's going on. But this is funny. As soon as Timmy sees Joyce go back inside, he punches Curtis right in the shit-eating grin.
I love this scene so much because Curtis is coming up like, yeah, motherfucker, I see you got out.
And he's just smiling. He's got that big-ass smile.
Shit-eating grin. He's looking at him like, yeah, I locked you in that fucking fridge. Good for you for getting out, asshole. And Timmy's looking at Joyce and is like, okay, all right. Boom! Throws like a big haymaker, knocking him down, and gets on top of some ground and pound, going, "I'm chicken, bok, what's up now?"
Yeah, and he's just beating the shit out of Curtis.
Town on Curtis,
and then some other random teacher comes in to break it up. But back in the lounge, Joyce is walking past the wardrobe that Steven's hiding in, and she opens the closet next to that, and out falls the dead body, Mrs. Davis. She runs out screaming for help, allowing Steven to sneak away. Joyce is now driven home by one of the other local cops, where she finds a handwritten note on the door that reads, "I'm playing in the junkyard, signed Timmy." So we cut to Timmy now walking down one of the this back alleyway that like kind of links all their houses to get on this block. And he's passing by Debbie's backyard, and Debbie's up in her tree deck, and she sees him, like, "Hey, come on up here, come on up."
He's like, all right.
He's like, all right, fine. So he climbs up, and as soon as he climbs up, he just sits on the railing with facing out, his feet hanging off the ledge, just sits there. And the camera points down and it shows like this like sharp like stick or something that's sticking up from the ground right below
It's like
him.
a sapling. A tree that's a sapling sometimes needs a little bit of support to help it grow. So it's like a steel rod.
Is it? Because I couldn't tell if it was a rod or if it was actually like a wooden stick.
I think it was a steel rod that was holding the sapling up, so it has some place to like a follow, so it can get stronger.
That would make sense. I thought that too, but then at one point, one of the angles, it showed it,
like
and it looked like because it was like diagonally at the top, so it looked like a broken off stick. Either way, they show it, and
it's like, oh, all you gotta do is just knock Timmy off, and he's gonna get impaled on this.
Exactly. Shit. So, in which we see Debbie then sneaking up behind him, and she's ready to like push him off.
She's got her hands up in a push position. She's slowly sneaking up behind Timmy,
and that's when the phone rings, which ruins her chance to kill Timmy. And because Timmy's like, "Hey, your phone's ringing. I gotta go," and he just takes off leave. It's the most pointless scene. It's like, why would you stop to hang out there just for 10 seconds, and your phone rings like, "Oh, I gotta get the hell out of here." So anyway, meanwhile, Joyce is at the junkyard looking for Timmy now, and she finds the fridge that Timmy was locked in, and inside she finds his like light up pen thing. She's like, "Oh shit!"
Like, "Oh shit!" He was telling the truth.
Exactly. So now we see Steven pop up in the driver's seat of some old ass car wearing like a sack on his head. So he looks
creepy, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it really is creepy. He kind of looks like Jason from Part 2, like sackhead.
Right.
He's got 2 eye holes instead of 1. And Curtis there is like next to him underneath the car seat, and he hot wires the car, and
Curtis is working the
pedals with his hands
as
Steven steers.
Steering.
Yeah, and the two of them are trying to like run down Joyce, but she's able to like run around and zigzag and avoid the car for a while. But she eventually gets her foot tangled up in like a coil of old wires, and she trips. At this point, the boys place a weight on the gas pedal and tie a rope around the gear shift, and then get out of the car.
So the car's revving up.
Yeah,
they take the cord that's hooked up to the gear shift, jerk it, perfectly goes into drive.
Perfectly.
And here it comes flying at Joyce's face.
That doesn't go into reverse or neutral first. Right into straight into drive. Well, I guess if they had it in neutral and then pull it down one, that would make it work.
Yeah,
that would work. So the car is speeding towards Joyce, but she manages to get her leg free. She runs. She dives to the side, rides the car, drives by her off this small like ledge or wall or
like
something.
Wall,
yeah. And she stands there crying as a cop car pulls up. The cop checks out the car, sees no one. And then he gets a call on his radio about a call from Mrs. Wilson about a psycho lurking in the cemetery and a psycho in the window while she was taking a shower. First of all, really, again, with this crappy way, like, this psycho talk is so
Psycho.
It's like, nobody would be using that. It's like suspect, a person of interest,
I think they
suspicious
even
person.
said psycho suspect.
Yeah, and so,
That's just fun.
but also, the fact, if she's in the shower, how does she see somebody in the cemetery or in her window if she's in the shower?
That's a good point.
Boom.
Maybe she's tripping balls.
Maybe she's tripping balls. But it's not just her, because they get like more and more reports. Like apparently, like everybody's calling,
Everyone's
like
seeing-
reporting everything.
Yeah.
So the cop drives off with Joyce as more reports coming over the radio, and this leads us to Curtis, who is practicing his quick draw skills in the mirror.
Attaboy.
He's like trying to be like duck out, and okay, he's like just wow, quick draw. And once he's satisfied with his abilities, he climbs out the window and creeps down the alleyway, where he comes to some random house where he sees a brother and sister playing in the backyard.
Dude, I love Curtis. I love Curtis's style. I love everything about this kid. So this trio of kids, you got Curtis, who's always dressed pretty sharp.
Yeah.
He's always got like a tucked in shirt. Sometimes he's got a tie on.
Curtis
you know?
wears basically 2 outfits the entire movie.
Yeah.
Where there's his funeral outfit. Take that back to 3. Then it's his like khaki slacks, like
And a yellow, like canary yellow shirt that he has tucked in.
tucked in with like a
Yeah.
beige jacket on.
Yep.
And then he has his like khaki overalls that he wears
yeah,
in like
yeah.
2 other scenes. He wears
And
basically
he's got the sweet khaki jacket too.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the part that flips up and there's flannel underneath. It's like a plaid flannel print.
he loves
Yeah,
khaki.
Dude, but his style is cool. And then you got Steven, who's like the goon. You know, he's just the kid who's got the little league shirt on.
He
He's like,
he
"Ugh,"
wears a little league shirt throughout
all
the entire
time.
movie. He's
Yeah,
like he has
and he's-
one shirt.
He's got that shitty bowl cut, you know,
Oh,
from the 80s.
helmet hair.
Yeah, but he's just kind of like the dumb goon, and then Debbie's the princess of the group. She's kind of, she's kind of smart, and she uses her feminine wiles to,
Yeah.
charm people.
Yeah, I would kind of say that. Debbie's like the mastermind, Curtis is the muscle, and then Steven's just like the dopey third one, just like.
I'd say Curtis is pretty smart too. I would say he's kind of he's got some brain to him.
I'm not saying he's not, but Debbie definitely seems to be the ringleader, in my opinion.
Mm.
Anyway, so Curtis pulls out the gun, and he's about to shoot these 2 kids when they get caught inside by their father. So Curtis is like,
Dude,
he moves
Curtis
on.
just wants to go kill people.
Yeah, he's just like.
He's just bored, and like I just feel like killing. There's no reason for why he's gonna kill
No.
these 2 kids.
No.
He's like taking aim with the gun, like time to kill these fucking kids.
Exactly.
You know, he's got no reason.
Yeah, he's just out to kill.
Just bored.
And so he makes his way to Timmy's house, where we see Joyce reading horoscopes and astrology charts to Timmy. And we see Debbie then watching Beverly and her boyfriend Willard through the peephole. They start making out a bit. Debbie pulls out a bow and arrow, which is magically appeared in her closet, along with golf clubs. Like, what 10-year-old has golf clubs? Like a whole
I don't
golf
know if it was
bag,
the
golf clubs.
family.
It's her
like-
closet. It's not her mom, but it's supposed to be her room.
Yeah, but she starts getting into them making out. She's like stops like planning like her murder. And he's like, whoa,
Yeah.
she's a fucking perv, man. She's like running her own little like peep show, like little porn shop in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Illinois. Right out of her closet here, and she's all of a sudden like getting turned on by her sister making out with her boyfriend.
Yeah,
Woo!
because
Debbie.
she stops lining up her perfect shot, the arrow, and she's and also knows this is where she has a sweet Blondie poster hanging up in her room.
She does. Yeah,
It's a
Deborah
yeah.
Harry.
Yeah, sweet poster.
Yeah, good call. I saw that too.
We go back to Joyce, who's doing Debbie's horoscope chart, and she says that basically this is what boils down is that because Debbie was born during an eclipse, that both the moon and the sun were blocking Saturn, which means there should be something missing from her personality because Saturn controls our emotions and the way we treat people. So basically, that's what this movie boils down to, is that because of the eclipse,
These
they're
kids-
born without emotions
Kids are psychos.
and psychos. So this is their astrology. Cheap astrology is what they're basing this whole movie off of.
Love it. And I love using the word psycho.
So we go back to Curse, who's still creeping around the alleyway.
Looking for something to kill.
Yeah, he gets to Timmy's house. He spies on Timmy and Joyce through the window. Again, he pulls out the gun from his jacket. Now, keep in mind, we've already commented, this is the same jacket he wears throughout the entire movie, which should have a giant bullet hole in it from where he shot his teacher, but there's no bullet hole anywhere in this jacket.
Yep.
Again, he gets murder blocked because a neighbor across the street gets into their car, turns on the headlights, which shine on Curtis,
And so he has to scurry away.
and he scurries away. But his murder lust is about to be satisfied because he comes across two older teens in a parked van.
Two randos.
Two completely random high school kids, or maybe college freshmen, who knows, in a parked van in the middle of the street. The kids or teenagers are stripping down. They start having sex. We get more boobs. The
Yeah,
music,
not bad.
again, the music here is sweet, sweet, sexy saxophone bliss. It's amazing. It's one step away from being just pure porn music.
Yeah.
And we hear the girl hears Curtis snooping around outside. Sends the guy
Again,
to check
Curtis
it
climbs up on the van. He's like, yeah.
out.
He's loving it. He's loving it. He's like, this is free.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have to pay my
I
quarter.
have to pay 25 cents.
So at first the guy sees nothing. They go back to making out, making that sweet, sweet love. Which the whole sex scene, it takes like 20 seconds. Not the endurance man this guy is.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
Huh?
That's normal.
I mean,
That's totally normal.
it seems normal to me.
And again, they hear someone trying to open the rear doors of the van. So the guy opens the door.
Yeah,
and
it's like, come on, man. You're completely naked. The chick's
completely naked. They don't even get
You wouldn't
dressed
be like,
first.
just throw the door open and be like, hey, you, cut it out.
Yeah. But as soon as he opens his door, bang! Gets shot in the fucking face by a smiling, grinning
Like,
Curtis.
Curtis smiling like, yeah.
Curtis then climbs into the back of the van, stands over the naked girl who's screaming, and just plugs her full of bullets and empties
Two
the
or
gun
three
into her.
Yeah, like
Just
3 or 4
empties the
shots.
gun. And this whole time, he's there with the shit-eating grin, just
Just
smiling
loving
away.
it, loving it.
Now, first of all, how the hell he gets away with this, I have no clue. Because he's not trying to be quiet when you're firing a fucking hand cannon.
Right.
And he just fired 6 rounds off, killing 2 people. The girl's screaming too, and all this is happening in the middle of a quiet suburban street.
And it can't be that late because little kids are playing in the backyard.
Yeah.
People are getting in their car driving
It's
somewhere.
probably like 9 o'clock.
Not
maybe.
even 9 o'clock. I mean, geez, it can't be. Yeah, it definitely can't be 10,
Yeah,
11.
I'd say it's somewhere between 8 and
Yeah.
9, maybe.
Yeah, perfect.
So-
Everyone's awake.
Well, yeah, and
Everyone should be awake.
yeah, definitely. Also, I have a. Hold on a second. I got a bone to pick here for a second. That just really threw me off. Yeah, here's the thing. Okay, remember at the very beginning where we cut into the cemetery with the 2 first kids? It jumped 10 years later to June 1st.
Yeah.
Why are these kids in school on June 1st?
Summer school?
Maybe, but nobody went. No kids went. Nobody went to summer school. Like
They're
At 10.
They're in California. Maybe it's a different.
maybe that's
liberal type
weird
of,
because I just
yeah.
realized because okay, if it's that dark at 8, 10, it'd have to be, pretty late to be that dark early,
Yeah.
which means it'd have to be either, the fall if it's like 6 o'clock and dark, or it has to be the summer, which means it'd be late. But why are they fucking in school on June 1st? That's weird.
Look at you getting the bottom of this. stuff.
See, that's something's not right here. So anyway, we cut the next day, and it's just the big joint birthday party for Curtis, Steven, and Debbie. The whole town seemed to have shown up
Yeah,
now.
it's
I
like
mean,
a ton of
everybody's
people
there.
there.
Everyone. Curtis is in the kitchen. Excuse me. He's in the kitchen with all these cakes, and he's
Yeah, because Debbie is looking at Joyce like she knows she's onto us. She's suspicious. We need to take her out, and Curtis is like, "I'll handle it."
Oh, that hasn't even happened yet, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we can
Yeah.
just jump to that. Yeah, basically that's what happens. But we see Curtis. They show us a can of like rat poison or something.
Ant poison.
Okay,
It specifically says ant
ant-
poison because I'm looking at it. I'm like, ant poison. All right, you're gonna try and poison the whole party with ant poison. At best, you're gonna give people like a tummy ache and make them sick. That's it. Ant poison.
But still-
you know how big a fucking ant
Yeah,
is?
but I'm so like, who the hell leaves a can of poison sitting out on the counter next to the cakes during a kid's birthday party?
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
That's just bad parenting.
Right,
That's irresponsible. So we
where we keep the icing at? Next to the ant poison.
yeah, we can't miss it. Right next to the
next to
poison.
the ant poison.
So we cut to which is right next to the bag of broken glass. It's right there. So
Next to the loaded rat traps.
Yeah.
Like sprung, ready to go.
So we go to Beverly, who's getting dressed up in her bedroom, talking to Joyce, and Joyce finds the peephole, and she laughs and she tells she tells Beverly what Debbie's been up to. Back at the party, this is where Debbie tells Curtis, hey, we've got a sign, she knows what's up. Curtis doesn't really care. He's like, whatever, no one's going to believe her if they think she's crazy. And then he walks off to carry out some kind of plan.
Like, I'll take care of it. Yeah.
Yes. So Beverly and Joyce bring out one of the cakes, help light the candles. The 3 kids are called over, make a wish, blow out the candles, blah, blah, blah. The party rolls on.
Yeah, and they're eating off of sweet-ass Mighty Mouse plates.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Mighty Mouse. I haven't seen that guy for a while.
Everyone's shown eating cake, talking, just parties going on.
Dude, fucking pounding cake.
Pounding
Too
cake.
many of these people are tearing through the cakes.
Yeah.
God damn.
Curtis sneaks off into the kitchen. Beverly tells Joyce, hey, we need another cake. We're running out. Go and get one. So she does. And she finds Curtis squirting like more icing from like one of those like icing decorating tube things.
She's like, come on, Curtis, man. You're making a mess. Cut it
Yeah,
out.
and she takes the cake, goes outside. Curtis continues to cover more iced cakes. There's like 5 cakes. I mean, there's a
And
shitload of cake.
how much are these fucking people eating?
Yeah, how many
Dude.
cakes do you need?
Dude, and they show people like with plates full of cake.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Maybe
they
you
haven't
wouldn't
eaten.
need so much cake if you give people like just a reasonable amount, like one
Yeah.
piece, like a piece, not like a quarter of a cake per
Here's
person.
Half a cake, buddy.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
So Joyce comes back in for another one, and Curtis quickly hides the poison behind his back. Upset with Curtis for ruining the cake, she knows that he's hiding something. He's like, hey, what is it? What do you have behind your back? He backs away, bumps into the counter, which causes him to drop the poison. In shock, she's like, what did you do, Curtis? He replies with the same shit-eating grin, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She sees like the tube of like the icing. I don't know what you call that thing, that cake decorating
Yeah, I mean,
icing
it's
sock
just
tube,
basically
whatever
all
it is.
It's just you just take like a flat sheet,
Nozzle.
you cut a hole in it, and you put icing, and you squirt it.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. He's holding that in one hand.
Icing squirter.
Yeah, he's holding that in one hand and like the poison the other. So Joyce pieces this all together. She runs out of the kitchen, screaming in the backyard,
Knocking cake out of people's
she's
hands.
slapping cake away like a madman.
Don't
eat
eat
the
the cake. It's poisoned.
The crowd gathers around her. Curtis comes out and says that he wasn't doing anything.
He saw the poison, was going to put it away.
Yeah, I was gonna put that away. So Joyce grabs Curtis and starts shaking him, like just shaking his shit, like, you a little liar, you little snot. And some of the other adults come over to stop her, demand to know what she saw. So she tells them everything, but of course nobody believes her.
Yeah, the grandfather's like, my grandson would never do that. Scoops up some icing and eats it. And then Curtis is like, yeah. Goes over, scoops up some ice cream, and he eats it in such a fucking little
Douche-
dick way.
oh, it's such a
right in
douche
her
way.
face, just ah!
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, you little prick.
Yep.
Oh,
So, and nothing happens to either one of them. So Joyce
It looks
loses her shit on Curtis, accusing her of tricking her,
start shaking him again.
making her think that he poisoned the cake. Brings up the fact he locked Timmy in the fridge, and at this point, the older man and like had to pry her off of
Yeah,
Curtis.
she's about to whip his ass.
Yeah, Curtis is ushered away through the crowd, and while he's being ushered away, he turns to look back at her with like again that
The fucking
that,
grin.
that fuck I got you bitch grin,
Yeah, yeah.
like haha. Later that night we cut back to Joyce and Timmy's house. The two of them are talking about Curtis while covering up their windows with black construction paper for some reason. Well, at first like, oh, they just want to make it so nobody can see inside, but it's only one pane of glass they're covering with one sheet of paper.
They were getting started. That was my thought. They're just
And they
getting
get started, but
Yeah.
and then you never see this again. Like they never finish it.
No.
Nothing ever comes of it. It's like, what's going on? So, they hear a noise come from somewhere else
Yeah,
in the
don't they have
house.
curtains?
Yeah, that's the same thing. Just
Can't
close
they
the
just draw
curtains.
the curtains?
Close the blinds. Shut the curtains.
Nope, we're gonna put black construction paper on every window.
Every
frame.
window. So Joyce starts slowly walking around the house to investigate, and she finds that the back patio door is open, and behind her, a closet door starts to creak open, and out comes Paul, Joyce's college boyfriend. He tells her he's basically blowing off his finals to come see her because he missed her, which is, we all know, is the genius thing to do, to blow off the most important test
Sure.
of college.
Hey,
The ones that, for all intents and purposes, determine if you graduate or not.
screw that, man. I gotta go see my high school.
Yeah, I gotta go get my dick wet. I gotta fuck my finals.
finals.
So they kiss, make out, and Timmy just leans up against the wall in the hallway behind him with his arms folded. He's like, oh, those darn kids.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with those two? And Joy's like, hey, why don't you go to your room and close the door? And Timmy again just like walks away smiling like, you crazy kids.
You crazy kid. Don't make
kid.
too much noise.
Yeah,
fucking-
yeah. So now Paul and Joyce are in Joyce's room, And she tells him that she doesn't plan on going to college anymore because she just wants to be a reporter. Because you know what? You're right. You don't need college for that.
No.
You don't need to go to get that pesky journalism degree or anything. I'm sure the New York Post will hire you in a minute right out of high school.
Like, I didn't understand that at
Yeah,
all.
it's like,
I
what?
didn't get it. Now, it'd be different if she's like, yeah, I'm going to a different college.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to the same college you're going to. You know, that would make sense. But she's like, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to be a reporter. Where it's like, you know, you can do that right out of high school.
Yeah.
Like, garbage man, retail clerk, reporter.
Yeah, it's like, what? Like, that's what? You have a horrible guidance counselor then or something. Like, what is happening? Who thinks you're just going to become a reporter straight out of high school?
That's pretty bad.
It's awful. That's just shitty writing. I mean, that's just so bad. So we cut back to Beverly, who's getting all dolled up in front of her mirror in her bedroom. And she knows she's missing some nail polish, so she yells out to Debbie, you know, did you take my polish again? Blah, blah, blah. She storms out of the room and into Debbie's room. She starts going through all Debbie's drawers, and inside she finds the murder
The
scrapbook.
murder book.
Yes. In comes Debbie. Beverly calls her a little ghoul for having the murder book and takes it to show their mother. Debbie denies that it's hers, saying that it belongs to Curtis, that he left it over here.
Little bitch.
Yep. So the mother tells
Throwing
Debbie,
Curtis under the bus.
of course. Mother tells Debbie that Curtis is no longer allowed to come over here. They're not allowed to play together anymore, and she orders Beverly to burn the
it.
book. So Beverly does. She takes it downstairs or into the living room where I think it's just a one-story house. I don't know. Burns the book at the fireplace. A pissed off Debbie is behind her. She picks up a fire poker and it looks like she's about to attack Beverly with it. But Beverly turns around in time and just like takes it away from her. Says, "Yeah, what are you doing with this?" And just leaves it at that.
Yeah, kid.
Yeah, kid. Debbie then is seeing. She calls Curtis on the phone and tells him, "Hey, you need to come over here now. Bring Steven with you.
Yeah.
Bring the minion with you.
Bring the goon.
Bring the goon."
Dude, Steven has like no lines.
No, he's
He's
Steven's
got, like,
the most
no
useless of all
input.
these
Yeah,
kids.
he just, I like to kill too, guys.
He's like, I just want to be part of the group.
Yeah, I'll kill whatever.
Back in her bedroom, Beverly is doing her nails again, and Debbie goes back to the peephole, grabs the bow and arrow. She lines up her shot as Beverly is seen through the hole, changing clothes. Debbie knocks on the wall with the arrow, like make a knock noise to lure Beverly over to it. And then Beverly like, gets right up to
Hey,
the people,
little
like,
shit.
"What are you doing in there?" And then she just unleashes the arrow. The arrow flies through Beverly's left eye, killing her.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Debbie goes into Beverly's room and places a wad of paper towels under her bleeding eye hole that kind of like soak up the blood, I guess.
That's such a bleeding eye hole. I just love hearing eye hole. We said it before on the Jersey Shore Massacre. Like, what's it, moist eye hole or something like that?
Soft, moist eye hole, I think is what I
I
said.
just love hearing the word eye hole.
Eye hole.
Bloody eye hole. Ugh.
So then she goes and lets Curtis and Steven in while the mother is seen taking a shower. So Debbie leads the boys to the body. And Curtis is like a little pissed off that she didn't wait for them to come over so
Yeah.
he could get in on the kill.
Yeah, he was like,
It's like,
come
what
on.
what the hell,
Why
man?
did you wait for us?
Yeah.
Damn, Curtis has
Curtis-
got the bloodlust.
Curtis plucks the arrow out of Beverly's skull, out of her eye.
Out of her eye hole.
Like he admires the blood, he admires it, and then he hands it back to Debbie, who just like tosses it through the peephole again back into her
Back
own
in the
closet.
Like, I'll take care of this later.
Yeah, it's like no big deal. These kids, how they manage to get away with this boggles my mind because their inability to, you know,
Dispose of evidence.
yes,
But they do a pretty good job of getting rid of the bodies, though.
Really? Because all they really, let's talk about that ability to get rid of the bodies. Because the two boys, because the two boys just roll Beverly's body onto a blanket, drag her down the hallway and out to the curb, where they dump her next to the trash cans for
garbage.
and then they run off. And I don't know why, but for some reason I love the fact that they just treat the disposal of Beverly's bodies like it's trash day, or should I say garbage day.
Oh, a little throwback.
Little
there.
throwback.
Little throwback.
But seriously,
there.
they just leave the body next to the trash can, so like the garbage man, like he's gonna come pick it up and just toss it in the back, like, oh, got another one of these.
But it's like perfect kid logic, you know. It's just like, well, we need to get rid of this. We're gonna let's put it by the trash. Trash will take it. You know. Oh, I love it.
So-
But I mean, they clean up all the blood.
Yeah.
They get rid of the body.
But they just leave the body on the curb. It's like, what the fuck? So meanwhile, Debbie goes back to clean up more of the blood. The mother gets out of the shower and is like, "Hey, catch her doing." She's like, "Oh, I spilled nail polish." And mom's like, "Oh, you're a good girl for cleaning it up. Just be more careful." Blah blah blah. Next day, we're now at Beverly's funeral. So goddamn, this mortuary does the fast fucking work. There's a quick turnaround because it's like the next day.
They don't say it's the next day.
No, but it makes it seem that way.
Anyway. I mean, I get what you're seeing. I get because they don't have any like 2 days later or something like that.
Well, that's
But
also
it's
like,
yeah. I mean, they don't.
they were born June 1st, and in the eclipse is June 1st, 1979. Then we jump 10 years later. No, I'm sorry, they were born June 10th, and then we jumped to June 1st, 10 years later, and we just had their birthday party, so it's been to June 10th. So it's only been at most 9 days since the cemetery kills.
They do quick work.
So they're doing really quick work regardless. The sheriff's funeral already happened, and now Beverly's funeral has happened in like a week.
Hey, Debbie's wearing that sweet dress again.
Yeah, they're wearing the exact same clothes. Everybody's wearing the same clothes.
Hey, man, we just got it out. Might as well wear it again.
Might as well wear it again. So after the funeral, we see the mother kissing Debbie goodbye and telling her that she'll be out in a couple of days, and is let off by a nurse and taken to a hospital. So the mother is getting institutionalized.
Hey, you know,
goddamn,
that's understandable, man. That's a lot to take on. You know, your husband and your little girl die by a quote unquote psycho. Knows? Yeah, so she's got to check herself in.
But
and
still, they just leave.
believe...
Like, who's supposed to take care of Debbie then? They make no. Debbie's just
well,
like.
They show her with two adults standing there. I'm guessing it's like aunt and uncle. They don't explain, but you know, there's two adults standing there with Debbie. It's not like she's by herself.
But that's what makes it like just
going to have a sweet party with Curtis and Steven.
But Debbie's at her house. Because the whole end of this movie takes place at Debbie's house because she's like, Joyce, like, come babysit me.
Well, yeah, because her mom's out of the hospital. They even say, my mom's out of the hospital, but she's going to go see a shrink.
Oh,
come over
yeah.
And babysit.
Okay, thank you. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. I withdraw. Thank you.
I
withdraw. So we go join up with Joyce and Timmy. They're sitting on the front step talking about Beverly's death and yard work. Because, you know, it sucks my best friend's dead and it's all, but we gotta make these damn leaves.
So this thing that bothers me too is that, you know, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 confirmed murders and one mysterious death in the police officer. So we've had 5 deaths, right?
Yeah.
So this is small town America.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the help for the police department? Where's like the possibly even the FBI?
Yeah,
there's you have 4 murders within, like you said, like just like a week's time.
Yeah,
you know, where is like?
I mean, that is a serious serial mass murder right there.
Oh yeah, don't forget about the 2 fucking teenagers who were banging in the back seat,
which
nobody's
ever finds
so
them.
Then there'd be 4 confirmed kills, and then the 2 kids, so that'd be 6.
Yeah,
and then you have the 1 mysterious death, so that's 7 people died, all within like a matter of days, like a week's time.
You're right, and like the cops, like you never really see them.
You see one bumbling cop who's like, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
It's like Barney Fife.
That's a great point. A great oversight of this movie. Like that place should be on like lockdown.
Right. You think there'd be like a big time like heavy police presence and, you know, deep investigation when they find, you know, Julie Brown's body in the dumpster. You know, so I'm just saying, what's going on here? Where's your sense of urgency, small town America?
So after the short yard work scene, whatever, we cut to Curtis messing with the wiring of the security system in Debbie's house. So again, we're right back at Debbie's house, even though Debbie shouldn't even be there, or I don't know what's going on. Well, Debbie and Steven eat snacks in the kitchen. They play hide and seek, and apparently Curtis was able to gizmo the door shut and keep them from opening just by placing some alligator clips in the security box. I mean, that's basically what he does.
Yeah, he reroutes, you know, whatever.
And soon after they hear the sound of something hitting off the windows, they look outside, and there's Timmy throwing fairly large rocks. Giant rocks at the windows, which don't break.
These are like the size of softballs. These are fucking like stones.
Yeah.
Big fucking stones.
And
he's just chucking it at the window.
And according to Debbie, her daddy put in special glass.
Like bulletproof glass.
Yeah, so goddamn, what kind of paranoid freak was the sheriff?
Pretty fucking paranoid.
You would think like this guy's living in Detroit or like East St. Louis and like getting ready for the purge.
Right.
Not living in peaceful, picturesque suburbia. I mean, he's got a state-of-the-art like Fort Knox security system and bulletproof glass for his windows.
And then this scene, the kids are like, there's fucking Timmy, and they're like, get him.
Get him!
And they all go tearing up. I love this chase scene. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why I love this chase scene, but Timmy's running, on all three of them are just like, boof, 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 boof. Like, they got this look on their face, like the fucking Terminator.
Everybody's like T-1000.
T-1000 for Terminator 2. The way they're running is like,
Yeah.
they just have this, like, serious, determined,
Oh, yeah.
you are not getting away.
Yeah.
You know, kind of look. And they catch
totally.
him.
Yeah,
They run him down.
Yeah.
All three of them are, like, in perfect stride. You know, it's like Kurt, Steve, Debbie. And they're all, like, perfectly, like, timed how they go. And I'm just like, that's awesome.
No, it was great. I will say, Timmy kind of brought this on himself because if you're throwing rocks at somebody's house,
what a dick move,
yeah,
kid.
Yeah, you expect to be chased. Don't go antagonizing and piss off the people who you think have just murdered 3 people like in the last few days. Like, why piss off the murderers? So, yeah, the 3 crazy kids, they chase Timmy back down the alleyway where they catch up with him. Curtis and Steven throw him to the ground. Steven covers Timmy's mouth and holds him down while Curtis begins to strangle Timmy with a garden hose.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, while Debbie just stands back and watches them do the
She's
dirty
just
work.
Like,
Again, this is why I think she's like the mastermind. She's like, she doesn't get her hands dirty, she absolutely has to.
she's enjoying it.
Yeah. So, however, Joyce notices that her sprinkler and the hose it's attached to are kind of being pulled and yanked and flopping around. So she's like, what's that? So she follows the hose around to the side of the house and finds the boys trying to murder Timmy.
So Debbie sees Joyce and's like, uh-oh, my cover's going to be blown too. So she starts playing dumb, like, stop it,
Yeah,
guys, stop
exactly.
beating him up. Fucking conniving.
Exactly. I
sneaky-
told you, Debbie
sneaky
is the
Debbie.
master. She is the sneaky. She's the scariest one of them all, in my opinion. But yeah, she's like, no, stop, you'll hurt him. So Joyce runs in to help. The boys release Timmy. Joyce, like, she threatens the boys. She's like, don't, I'm gonna call the sheriff, blah blah blah. And Curtis is like, again, he don't give a shit.
Dude, Curtis pulls out this sweet line. He's just like, hey, he's like, I'm going to call the sheriff. Yeah, just like you called me out for poisoning people, they're going to think you're crazy. And you have something against
Exactly.
you. It's like Curtis is like, he played his card.
Yeah.
He's just like, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. And so Joyce like grabs him by the collar and Curtis starts out, hey, you better let me go or my grandfather will have you arrested for assaulting a minor. So of course Joyce lets go and the boys just run off while Debbie just kind of gives him a little grin. And goddamn, this is what makes me terrified of kids. Like, really.
If they really know how.
Like, seriously, if they realize how much power they have over adults and this way, which is really screwed up. This is so much like that episode of South Park, which is like the Children in the Corn episode, where like all the kids like frame the adults for like saying they molested them, and they all get hauled away. Like, it's like kids have so much power, it's scary.
Or if they can manipulate it right.
Yeah.
Watch out for your daughter.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking freaky.
Or use your daughter.
And it's another reason why I ugh, no.
Just use to manipulate her to make her like your pawn. It's like, I have a
Oh,
powerful little pawn. I can just wield her.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Excellent. Anyway, the 3 kids, they're back at Debbie's tree deck, and Debbie's putting together a new murder book. And the first picture they glue inside is Joyce. So she is now target number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And we go back to Joyce in her garage, sharpening a set of garden shears. Debbie walks up, asks Joyce if she and Timmy can come over tonight to babysit.
Yeah, she says, my mom's in the hospital. It's like, oh, that's great. Yeah, but she's got to see a shrink. Can you babysit? Sure. What time am I over there? 7. All right, we'll be there.
Exactly. So we skip ahead to later that night. Joyce is at Debbie's house. She turns on the security system, then goes to the living room to read a book and listen to her headphones. Timmy's asleep on the couch. Outside, we see Curtis and Steven looking through the window. At Joyce and Timmy sleeping. Steven pulled out the gun and Curtis like, no, you moron! It's bulletproof glass, you idiot! So like, oh. So then
Steven is a goon.
Yeah, he is a goon. So they just walk over, they knock on the door, rush off as Debbie turns off the security system, lets them in through the back door. And once again, Curtis attaches some more alligator clips to the security box to rewire it. Now, this is the same kind of rewiring bullshit job that reminded me of that we saw in New Year's Evil with the elevator scene.
Yeah,
it's just alligator clips.
He's just clipping different things.
Yeah.
And it's making the elevator go crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly what this is. He's just clipping alligator clips with different things, and apparently he can make the
Manipulate-
doors
yeah.
not open. And they're not electronic locks; they're just doorknobs, like a
Yeah.
lock and key. But somehow they're electronically jammed now.
Magnetically shut.
Yeah. So Steven cuts the phone line using like the Michael Myers kitchen knife, and cuts the phone line in the kitchen. By the way.
Yes.
Okay. So Curtis and Steven stand in the doorway between like the kitchen and living room. Curtis pulls out the gun, points it at Joyce, while Steven stands next to him holding the knife. Now, I need to comment on this before I go on, because we mentioned a few times about this gun. And he's holding this in one hand. His right hand stretched out straight. Now, this gun is huge compared to him. I mean, its thing is slightly smaller, like Rick Grimes is like Colt Python from the Walking Dead
Yeah,
series.
I mean, it's not a 38. It's bigger than a 38.
I mean,
isn't
it's
it?
massive,
It's a
yeah.
big fucking gun. It's got to be like a 45, like a short barrel 45
Yeah.
or something.
And
It's a revolver.
The
yeah.
kickback from this thing alone would be massive. Yet Curtis somehow magically has no issues holding it, aiming it, or firing this hand
With
cannon.
his 10-year-old flimsy
Arm.
one
It's so
arm.
magical.
Yeah.
It's such bullshit. I'm not saying he's a marksman by any means, but still, I mean, his arm. He should be getting knocked off his feet. That gun should be flying away. He should at least be using two hands. But no, he just like one hand this thing. Like I'm just one step away from him like turning it to the side and going gangster style with this thing. It's bullshit. It really bothers me. So Timmy wakes up just in the nick of time to see Curtis pointing the gun at Joyce. He yells out for Joyce to duck. Curtis fires the gun, but Joyce ducks out just in time as the bullets start whizzing past. Debbie comes up behind Timmy and tries to strangle him with a rope. Joyce throws a lamp
Yeah.
at Debbie, hitting her in the face.
He's knocking her down. It's pretty awesome.
But the weird thing about this is like there's this like weird, you know, like those movies where it's like, okay, you have like, you know, it's similar to the scene where like, okay, so like the bad guy's got like a loved one or something like around the neck, like they're gonna kill him, like if you move, I'll kill her, and then the other guy's got a gun. He's like, and how am I gonna? But the hostage is like, do it, shoot him,
Yeah.
just do it, you know, don't worry about me, do it.
Right.
And the cop's like, oh, okay, fine, you know, but they do that same thing here, but it's like
It's
the
a lamp.
threat's so lame. It's like because Timmy's
I'm gonna
being
throw this lamp, and
Timmy's
like,
better. Like they knives. Like Timmy's like, do it, and just Joyce like throws the lamp and smacks. I mean, but it's like, why wouldn't you do
Right,
it? It's like
right.
there's no reason not to do it. It's not like Timmy's like, don't do it. Like they're like, oh, you move, I'm gonna kill him. But,
Right.
like she doesn't have a gun. She has a rope. Like of course she's gonna do it. Like it's just so weird. Like that's even in the movie. Like do it, do it now.
notice that.
It's just so weird. So anyway, yeah, she smacks Debbie in the face with this lamp, which
pretty
was awesome. Yeah, it frees Timmy. Curtis continues to shoot at Joyce. Then she picks up a fire poker, throws it at Curtis, but that
To no
misses.
avail.
The gun runs out of ammo, so Curtis and Steven duck into the kitchen to reload. Joyce runs for the security system to turn it off so they can escape, but due to Curtis's alligator clips, she can't.
Damn alligator clips.
Damn alligator clips. So Curtis gets the gun reloaded, and they go back after Joyce and Timmy. But they run down the hall, manage to make it to Beverly's bedroom, and barricade themselves. And that's a lot of B's. Beverly's bedroom barricade.
Beverly's bedroom
Barricade. So Curtis starts randomly shooting through the door, just trying to hit him. He's just blasting through. While Debbie then is seen back in the closet, getting the bow and arrow back out.
Going back to her, her old school style.
Yeah, getting ready to shoot through the peephole. Now, here, the movie forgets that Curtis is, in fact, using a 6-shooter. Because, yes, they show him reloading one.
He starts shooting tons and tons and tons
I mean,
of
like
bullets.
20 bullets
Yeah,
of
it's
fire
pretty
without
ridiculous.
reloading
Yeah,
here.
I was doing the same thing. I was like, whoa.
Because at first, like,
whoa.
oh, good on you, movie.
Yeah.
You remember.
Yeah.
I appreciate when movies remember guns have to be reloaded. But here, they completely forgot about that, and it's just fucking.
Yeah, he's just shooting tons of holes.
Yeah. So now there's also another problem here because Joyce tries to use the phone in the bedroom to call out for help, but it doesn't work, which is bullshit
because they
Steven,
just cut the one line.
the one line in the kitchen, which only means the kitchen phone would not work.
They didn't cut the master
Yeah,
line.
not the line
Yeah.
that comes into the house. It's bullshit.
It would have made more sense if you just took the phone at the hook.
Yeah.
Because if it's one signal, then it'd just be like a busy signal. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense.
Exactly. So,
Oh man, I remember those old fucking.
Oh,
phones.
yeah.
I remember picking up and my sister be like, "Go the
Go
phone,
the
Aaron."
phone!
I'm like, okay, and I just act like I hung it up and I hit the mute button.
The mute button.
Just hold it in my ear and listen to everyone's
Which
conversation.
I always thought was so weird. Like, why do those phones have mute? Like, who needed a mute button?
so you could be fucking sneaky.
Yeah, but like seriously, who But why would they have that? Like, what dicks? Like, you know what? We're gonna put a mute button on this phone so assholes can listen on their family, loved ones' phone calls.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
it's so awesome. But the same thing, it never worked for me. Every time I push that mute button, people were like, "Get off the phone." They would hear the mute button be pushed in, and they'd be like, they just know. I'm like, God damn, this thing's pointless. It's useless.
I was pretty good at it. I
I
never heard anything juicy.
So, anyway, Debbie lets loose her arrow, and it narrowly misses Joyce. So she goes back to notch another one. Seeing the peephole, Timmy rushes over, jams a hand mirror into it for some reason to block it, of all things. Which he just knocks out of the hole again. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not going to stay there.
Fucking Timmy.
Yeah. Joy, it might have been easier just, I don't know, close the closet door, maybe?
Right.
Just close the door.
Put the clothes in front.
Yeah. Joyce grabs this glass turtle tank off of Beverly's dresser and tells Timmy to let them in. So he opens the door. Steven enters with the knife. Joyce, tosses the water from the bowl into Steven's face, which
Distracting him.
catches him by surprise, causes him to drop the knife, and then Joyce and Timmy just throw him into this large wooden trunk
Bum rush him into a trunk.
and lock him in it. So now Joyce and Timmy, they run for the back door to get the sheriff's gun out from the cabinet. Curtis enters behind him and tells Joyce, oh yeah, that's only a replica bit. He's like, that's the phony one.
I got the real one, bitch. You're dead.
Yeah, so Joyce, which they should have known already because they've been shooting that gun at him this whole time.
Well, I guess she just thought there was another gun.
I get
Yeah.
So Joyce gets in front of Timmy to kind of shield him, being the responsible bigger sister. I'm going to take care of him. Curtis takes a step towards him, cocks the gun, pulls the trigger, but all he gets is a click this time.
Well, good.
Yeah, thank God.
After he shot 6 rounds plus another 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timmy then charges Curtis and tackles him to the ground.
Again, starts to go on the ground and pound.
Yeah, just punches him a few times in the gut while saying, "I'm sick of you." Really, Timmy? I mean, that's all you're going to say to the kid who's trying to straight up murder
I'm
you for the past
sick of
several days?
you.
Not like, "Fuck you, I'm going to kill you." Like, "I'm sick of you."
You stinker.
You, you butthead. Joyce comes to help, and the two of them hog tie Curtis. They straight up hog tie him. And Timmy continues to tie up Curtis while Joyce beats on the security system with a shoe, causing it to short circuit.
Sure.
So again, high tech but pretty flimsily made.
Don't take off the alligator clips. Get your trusty shoe,
Just beat it with
whack
the
it a
shoe.
few times.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
This gives Debbie the chance to sneak out a window and get away. Joyce sends Timmy over to a neighbor's house to call the police. Outside, Debbie spots her mother's car coming home. She runs out, greets to the car, crying. She gets into the car, crying to her mother that Curtis and Steven did some terrible things and that Joyce is going to try to blame her too. So again, she's trying to play I'm innocent, Mommy, I didn't do this, but you're going to hear some shit. So Debbie starts to tell her mother what happened as the cop car roars up and the cop runs inside the house.
And it's so funny because Joyce, Debbie's mom's looking at all this and she's like, I fucking can't handle this. I fucking can't handle this. And she puts the car in reverse and drives away.
Yep,
She's like, my husband's dead. My daughter's dead. She's barely hanging on to reality.
I'm pretty sure my daughter's a psycho
And
serial
she just
killer.
sees the cops pull up and she's like, fuck this.
Yep,
I
exactly. He's
can't
like,
deal
fuck
with
it,
this.
I'm out. Puts car reverse, drives off
It would
into
have
the
been better
night.
if she just kicked the kid out the door. Be like, fuck you, kid. I'm out of here.
That would have been
That would've been
hilarious.
awesome.
Oh, I would have loved that. So we fade away and fade in on Curtis and Steven being escorted out of the police station, and they're loaded into the backseat backseat of a car by two detectives. And while their parents and the grandfather watch along with Joyce and Timmy
In shock.
and their
these
parents.
Children, oh my.
Yeah. Now Curtis again just glares at Joyce from the back seat of the car, and then it goes into a slight
Back
smile.
to that sweet, sweet signature shit-eating grin.
Yep. Now we cut to this desert roadside motel where Debbie's playing a car jack, and she's
Like a
learning
big
how to use it.
industrial
Yeah,
car
big
jack,
big
yeah.
jack. She's raising it up and down. The mother comes out of the motel room, and we learn that she has changed Debbie's name to Beth Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother's like, "Don't talk to strangers," blah blah blah. And Debbie's like, "I won't." And from now on, she says, "I won't." And from now on, I'm going to be a good little girl. The two of them get into the car and they drive off. the camera zooms in on a semi-truck and pans down to show the bloody body of the driver who has been crushed underneath the front wheel as if someone had removed the jack that was holding up the truck. Fade to black, roll credits.
Bloody birthday.
Bloody birthday. Woo! All right, so let's go on to favorite kill.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
Not a whole lot this week, and again, the early '80s, so you don't really see a whole lot.
But
But
it
we
wasn't nearly as bad as Terror Train. Terror Train was much worse.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your pick this week?
So I'm kind of torn.
Okay.
I'm a little torn, and I haven't been torn in a while.
No, you haven't. I've been pretty decisive.
Yeah, I'm torn between the opening kills of the makeout couple in the cemetery because that was just so fun. You know?
Right.
And Julie Brown getting an arrow in the eye.
Arrow in the eye.
Yeah, so I'm kind of torn between the two. I'm going to have to go with Julie Brown just because, it's probably the most bloody, probably the most graphic. I thought it was kind of, it set up pretty nicely. I have to go with that one, but I still really like the cemetery ones as well.
Okay. I agree with you. That was definitely the bloodiest, and that's saying a lot because it's not even that bloody. But I also kind of like, at first I thought the sheriff just getting Negan'd, because that was brutal. The first time I was like, oh, Jesus.
And I didn't know anything about this movie. Like, I just knew we were watching Bloody Bird. I didn't look at anything. I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't know anything. So when I watched the opening murder, didn't know it happened. I kind of knew these three. Someone's weird about these three kids, and I was like, I bet something's going on with these three. This shit, they just beat that fuck. I'm like, holy crap! They did not waste any time.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the first murder where you see, okay, the kids are
fuck, and they did it brutally.
Yeah, with a fucking baseball bat to the back of the head. But at the same time, I'm also with you because I love the opening one. The shovel to the face is just. It made me laugh.
Had to hit him twice.
Not once, but twice. He gets up and it hits him again. He just hit in the head 3 times with a shovel. I mean, one point you think, guy, just stay down. Just stop getting up.
That's a good point.
So, arrow in the eye is good. I liked it, but I think just because it made me, I'm going with the shovel to the head.
That's a great one.
The great one. It's just so funny. It's just like thump, thump. I mean, it's so done in some way. It's almost like something you'd see in like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Right.
Like you expect a show to be removed from his face, and his face to be like all flattened out.
Right.
Like some of the cartoon.
Right. I do love they had to hit him twice with it.
Yeah.
3 times, technically.
3 times. All right, so let's go on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
All right, our ratings. IMDb gives it a 5.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, there is no official thermometer score, but it has a 36% audience score. And Amazon, pretty high. It gets a 4 out of 5 on Amazon. Plot keywords, there were 103. 103. Again, of course, I didn't write all those down. I did write a good amount.
Oh, wow.
Aaron, you want to take a guess here?
Let's see. Child killer.
I didn't write that down, but yeah.
Let's see. Telephone.
Nope.
Masked driver.
No.
Boobs.
Breast,
titties,
nipples. Okay, I give you that.
Julie Brown.
No.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know.
All right. Short skirt, breast.
Shorts. Okay, yeah. Well.
Sex in a van.
Okay.
Sex in a graveyard.
Okay.
Murder of a nude man.
Yeah.
Foot close up, which I thought was really some foot fetish fucking had to be. Who puts that as a plot keyword?
Well,
and second, what foot close up was there?
I don't remember there being a foot close up. I mean, it was kind of like when Julie Brown was making out with her boyfriend, she wasn't wearing any shoes.
But it's not a close up.
It wasn't a close up.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
So it's like the same thing with the panty people.
So,
the foot people and the panty
dude,
people.
Seriously, the fetish people had to bombard this plot keywords because, like I said, we have breasts, foot close up, pantyhose, nipples, red bra and panties, as always. Had to have the panties, and panties hit the floor.
Panties hit. Let the panties hit the floor. Let the panties hit the floor. That's hilarious. Panties hit the floor.
Panties hit the floor.
Oh shit! God damn, that's so funny.
All right, moving on to trivia. Not a whole lot here this week. Lori Lethin did all of her own stunts in this movie, so which weren't a whole lot. Is basically just her running through the graveyard then, or junkyard, not graveyard. The astrology book that Joyce consults is Linda Goodman's Sun Signs. However, none of the material she supposedly reads out loud is actually from that book.
Huh. Wah, wah.
The house depicted in the film's colorful German poster is the same house from the miniseries Salem's Lot from 1979. The film's French title is, I can't even pronounce it because I don't know French, but it translates to The Killers of the Eclipse.
Underline it. I want to try it.
All right. And the German release was Kinder des Teufels, meaning children of the devil. And I want to learn both those. That you and then the last thing before I hand it to you is due to the lack of success of this film, the continuation, there was supposed to be a sequel, I guess, with Debbie, never came to be. So
Okay, the French
there you go. See if Aaron can
pronunciation of the La Toile de l'Eclipse. La Toile
Le Tour. You don't know if you're speaking anything.
Like, looks like Taurus, like Tour de
don't know.
l'Eclipse. And then the German one is Kinder das Teufels.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I don't know. I never took either one of those languages.
Neither
I
did
took Espanol, motherfucker. Si, senor.
Unfortunately, I could not find the budget for this movie, so don't get to do a budget game this week, which
okay.
kind of sucks. But we do well, now. I can't talk. I'm getting tongue tied. We move on to 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
All right, 5-star reviews from Bindi Sue.
Bindi?
Bindi, Bindy.
Like a little spot on an Indian.
I guess
person's head?
Bindi, Bindy.
Huh.
Bindi Sue. In Bloody Birthday,
Sue.
3 sociopathic 10-year-olds murder the town sheriff, their school teacher, and a slew of naked teens. I particularly enjoyed Timmy, the one kid who the terrible trio cannot seem to kill. They lock him in an old refrigerator, he escapes. They try to shoot him twice, he is saved. One of the little creeps even tries to push him from a high place, only to be interrupted by the telephone. Yep, Timmy is indestructible, which infuriates the homicidal tots to no end. Go, Timmy! The maniacal threesome themselves are so bratty and psychotic that I hoped for their demise. Bloody Birthday is the perfect early 80s drive-in movie, especially since none of the adult females are able to keep their clothes on for very long at all. 5 stars.
Timmer! That's all I can think of.
I know.
Go, Timmer!
From Goddess Angie, and Angie is spelled Anjanee, and Johnny or Angie. I was a young girl when I first saw this movie. At times I thought I dreamt of this movie and that I imagined it. I was so happy to see that Amazon.com had a few copies for purchase. When I first got a DVD, I viewed this movie by myself. Later on that week, I watched this movie with my mother. She said it was okay. A few days afterward, I watched that movie with my boyfriend. He had the same reaction that I did. If you want to know what reaction that was, then you must buy this DVD. 5 stars.
Titillating.
Yeah, or who the fuck cares?
Yeah. Well, you gave it 5 stars, so I think you liked it.
Yeah,
So.
it was pretty obvious. From Julie Hyatt, or James Hyatt, I'm sorry. Julie has a nice body and she's hot. 5 stars.
Sweet.
Yep. And maybe the best 5-star review of all time from Claudio De Janeiro.
I like the name Claudio De Janeiro.
Boobs, thumbs up, 5 stars. Boobs, thumbs up. That's all it took was him to give it a 5-star review.
Classic.
Boobs. Love the simplicity of that one. All right, so let's wrap this up. Let's start closing down the shop here. Aaron, final thoughts on your experience with Bloody Birthday.
I'm going to say it's so bad it's good.
Really?
I enjoyed it.
All right.
It was pretty fun. It wasn't too corny with the kids. They really weren't like it. They didn't. It wasn't cheesy. They didn't do it too cheesily, and they did it right off the bat. And it kind of had an interesting little story. They weren't the same 3 kids. They weren't like triplets.
Yeah.
They were all 3 separate kids who just happened to have the same birthday, born at the same time. And it was just kind of weird how they had this bizarre connection. I really like Curtis. I really like Curtis a lot. I liked the way the kid acted. No one suspects the kids. I thought they did a good job. And I would love to see a fucking sequel. I would love to see a fucking sequel where they get out like 10, 15 years later. So they're like in their early 20s. And you got Debbie. She's,
They get out on their 18th birthday because they're minors, so they get out on their 18th birthday.
like the mom has suddenly disappeared. Obviously, Debbie killed her. And she's, like this young, hot thing who's using her feminine wiles.
I think
to
the
do
only
things.
reason Debbie keeps him around is because she's realized she's only
Well,
10.
she's
It's
only 10,
so
yeah.
I have to keep her around.
Sure.
I rely on her.
And then you'll have Curtis, who is kind of like smarter, like he's kind of crafty and everything. And then you show Steven, who's just been pumping weights the whole time, and he's like Tom Hardy or like Bane. He's just dumb, just like raw, just like all ripped. And they get back together and they wreak havoc. I want to see that sequel.
That would be fun.
That'd be fucking.
That'd be
awesome.
pretty awesome.
Bloody
I'd love. Yeah, I would.
Birthday
The way you said that, I want to see that now.
Yeah.
Me, you know what? I kind of lean the same way you are. Like I
was
didn't
fun.
think I was gonna say So Bad It's Good, but I'm gonna say So Bad It's Good. But again, it's because it's a little different. It's not your straight up slashers. You're not gonna go and expecting to see like the blood and guts, like a Friday 13th or Halloween Nightmare on Elm Street or anything else like that. But it is unique in a way that it's one of the first movies that did killer kids, which and sometimes I don't like the whole killer kid thing.
Right.
I could do without it.
Because they do it cheesily. They
Yeah.
do it corny like. Yeah.
I agree. But this again, I gotta say, So Bad It's Good, and the fact that this movie would never be made today. The scenes like the kid taking a gun to school, a
Yeah.
kid walking around a neighborhood just looking for people to kill, like this would never exist today. This is only something you would see in the early 80s. So, but it is kind of neat. I mean, like I said, the dynamic between the kids, with the exception of Steven, who's just like basically a mindless goon, like we keep saying,
Yeah.
who barely has any lines. But Curtis and Debbie each are so unique.
See, in the
and-
sequel, they become like the love interest. See,
They-
that's
they-
what I'm talking about. And Steven's just, he'll become the big muscular goon.
maybe Natural Born Killers is a sequel to this.
Who
Woody
knows?
Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, right?
Huh? Yeah, well, Steven must have bit the dust.
Yeah, Steven gets shanked in prison or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I like how like they were murderous kids, but each one was different in their way. They were different kinds of murderers. Like Debbie was the methodical, thinking mastermind. Curtis was just a bloodthirsty. Although my problem with Curtis is he would have gotten caught eventually. He was
Yes,
so
yes.
bloodthirsty and just kill.
Yeah.
He would have made a mistake
Why
without
didn't he
Debbie.
get killed? I mean, he obviously shot the shit out of those two
Yeah.
horny teens.
I mean, his kids would have gotten caught eventually. But yeah, I surprised myself saying So Bad It's Good.
All
It's
right.
worth at least one watch,
Yeah,
like
totally.
at least one time, especially if you can get it for free. Like if you
yeah,
get-
on YouTube, I swear to God, it's fantastic quality too.
So wow, all right, surprise ourselves with that one.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, like I said, I didn't look anything into it. I was just like, okay, because I kind of like, I just want to see what it was.
Yeah.
I kind of like being surprised.
all right. So that's it. Yeah. So check us out on Facebook if you haven't already. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. We're at So Bad It's Scary, and then on Instagram we're at Horrible Horror Podcast. You can also find us on our website horriblehorrorpodcast.com, along with where you can download and listen to all of our episodes. You can also get them off of Podbean, and you can get them off of Google Play and iTunes, all 100% free. And remember, if you like anything or any questions, send us emails, tweets, Facebook messages, whatever. We'll get back to you. If you have a movie suggestion, let us know. We'll try to get it in. We love doing listener suggested ones. Try to do those as many as we can. I think we can have a few of those coming up in the next few weeks, as a matter of fact. So, but in the meantime, any closing words? Anything to say?
Nope, not really.
All right.
I'm gonna take you out, grab something to eat or something, because it's your birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday! All right. So, in the
dinner's on
meantime,
me.
watch more horror movies, and forever remember, keep it.
We need something new
Tight.
for 2017.
Well, I guess we're not signing off right here.
I don't know. Well,
If
we
you have
said-
any ideas for a closing,
we
for a
always
sign
keep it
out,
tight
let us
in
know.
2016. Well, man, let's think about 2017. In the meantime, keep it
Keep
tight.
it loose. Keep it loose.
Keep it loose.
Just let it hang loose. Loose butthole.
That's all you, buddy. You keep that loose butthole.
For your workaholics fans out there, but yeah, whatever. We're not rambling. Fuck it. We'll talk to you later. Bye.